Hi there. My name is John Eckhart. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at ELB Learning. Today, we're going to be looking at how to use your Rockstar learning platform to build community. And I'd like to introduce, as Stephanie did as well, Alex Coggins, our Customer Success Manager for the Rockstar Learning Platform, and Veronika Sniegirova, who is the product manager for the Rockstar Learning Platform. And between the two of them, most of the work gets done. I want to take a few moments as we introduce our program today to talk a little bit about the ELB Learning Experience. And as you know, here at ELB, we have products and services that run across the board, from virtual reality to custom learning, from authoring tools to learning platforms. We provide a gamification platform, a video practice and mentoring and coaching platform, and we work with you to develop learning strategies, and we even have people who can help you through that whole process. So I want to talk a little bit about how the learning experience has evolved briefly over time. What we've seen is that learning and development has evolved from mechanization and repetition to thinking, to being in an immersive, active participation world where creativity is capital and innovation is the actual product. And we'd like to show you how to unleash the learning experience through our Rockstar Learning Platform here today. Just a couple of quick points to make. In the information age, the idea of communicating was we made information accessible. In the experience age, our primary focus is on creating experience itself. Society is transitioning from wanting information to seeking experiences that are related to that information. So in the experience age requires the delivery of an experience. Features and functionality in a product are no longer the center of design focus. Rather, the product and processes and any related services are designed within the context of the customer experience. So the goal of innovation becomes, how do we create and deliver experiences that connect directly with our customers? So I found a survey out on Forbes here recently. It was put out a couple of years ago. Basically, they surveyed 2,000 business professionals and found that 46% of those respondents identified customer experience as the top priority for the next decade. They also went on to say that of those 2,000 respondents, 86% of them who were also buyers, they said that they would pay a premium price in order to have a good experience. And so what's really important here is that consumers see value in time well spent or in time well saved, and that the customer experience will basically be overtaking product and price as the key brand differentiator. And if we didn't know it already, this is really proof that the experience age here is upon us. Now, Jim Gilmore and Joe Pine coined the phrase experience economy. And they say really that time is now the currency of value. And so for consumers to see value in time well spent or in time well saved is a really critical thing for us to keep in mind as we design our learning experience. The experience age, which was a phrase coined by Mr. Pine, it's defined by the dominance of intangible value. And obviously, from an economic perspective, that applies across the board. Here at ELB, we've taken this a step further, and we've reviewed all of our product offerings, those that I mentioned, and we've looked at the overall development process and life cycle. And we've kind of identified how each one of those fit into our model. you'll notice over here on the far right, we have the socialization or the social aspect of learning. And socialization is the process that people learn the cultures and the values and the norms of the group. It can be defined as the process of learning, which directly or indirectly influences actions, beliefs, and behaviors of the person. It encompasses social norms and results in desirable outcomes, and more importantly, in social community. So as we look at how to use RLP as part of an overall socialization process, Alex Coggins will present a model that he's developed that makes this really easy to work out for you. Here at ELB, we look at the learning experience really in 4 different capacities. How do you harness new technologies? How do you integrate human development into learning design? How do you make the learner the center of the experience? And how do you provide an evaluation framework? What we're going to focus on here today is really 2 things. One, how to take advantage of the ELB technology stack for the Rockstar learning platform, where we're able to provide inputs from Lectora, CVR, 5 million images and assets from our asset library, be able to integrate gaming and arcades, and how the Rockstar platform supports all of that. So that would be the first piece. And the second piece is, how do you maintain a learner-centered approach in doing that? What is it that the learner needs to do? How do they interact with you, your product, and the systems and tools that you provide? And most importantly today, the community. So with that said, let me go back. That was my closing slide. What I'd like to do now is to introduce Alex Coggins. He's been with ELB for about 1.5 years now. He's the world-class customer success manager, and will share with you how we can build a community using RLP to aid in the overall socialization process. So thank you, Alex.
Okay, thank you, John. I'll go ahead and dive in here. All right. So on the topic that John just touched on, a lot of this comes down to a new way of thinking. So right now, e-learning is just scratching the surface. It's almost too purposeful.
Hey, Alex, do you want to put that in a slideshow mode so that the slides are bigger?
Oh, sure. 1 second. Okay. So it comes down, is my screen paused?
It is loading. We like to add an element of suspense into all of our webinars just to keep everybody on their toes. I may have overwhelmed Google with my request.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess we just can't have slideshow mode. Maybe just hit refresh on your page and we'll do it how you had it before. Sorry, everyone.
All right. Let's see, I could make this a bit bigger though. Okay. All right, so it comes down to a new way of thinking. So e-learning is just scratching the surface, so to speak. It's very purposeful. You know, we train our employees on policies, procedures. If we sell products outside of RLP, we teach our employees how to sell them. We teach them, you know, about the product, right? But I don't want to just stop there. I want to continue to grow and cultivate something more. So to me, that's a community for my customers. So let's say, for instance, I'm a flagpole manufacturer, just a random business idea there. And I want my customers to be part of a community. Because if you're buying a flagpole or, you know, something very specific, it is sort of a community. And there's a bunch of facts out there, a bunch of sharing opportunities that you can really hone in on for your community. So that leads us into engineering customer interaction. So there are 7 steps. And at the end of this, what I plan to do is not only cultivate a community for my customers, but also collect vital demographic data, marketing contacts, feedback, potential product additions, and ensure customer retention. So those 7 steps, which most of us are all familiar with, having used RLP before, enterprises, branding, offices, learner groups, account settings, user data, and courses. So we'll dive into the first step, the enterprise. So for me, what I can do with RLP is I can create an enterprise just for my customers. So this can be a community that all of my customers have access to, and we'll go through more of the options that we have. So branding would be a next great step. As you can see, I have my logo uploaded, still there, flagpoles, and I also included a banner to highlight the community aspect of it. So whenever they log in, they'll be welcomed with a very official sort of appeal. The next way I would go about this is by creating an office. So creating an office has a couple of benefits. One of them being I can create an office admin for my end of things that can manage the customers and help them as much as possible. But creating an office also gives me another opportunity down the line, which I believe is step number 6. So we'll see that come into play in just a bit. The next step would be a learner group. So now that we've got the enterprise, we have the office, now we need the learner group. So a learner group could be extremely helpful for me on the back end, so I'm not getting customers confused with my own employees by sharing learner groups. And again, just like offices, this gives me the added benefit when we dive into the user data. But before the user data, let's talk about account settings. So here is where you can really make a decision on what best suits you and your business. For instance, you can do turn on auto enrollment, or you can choose to use featured items. I would prefer to use auto enrollment. So in this image here, I do have it turned on. The reason why is because whenever customers are added to the system, I know that they're going to be automatically enrolled in the content that I built for them. So it requires much less maintenance for my staff. And finally, what I've been alluding to is the user data. So this is going to be a huge benefit for engineering customer interaction and collecting demographic data, like I discussed at the beginning. So user data, you may or may not have used this before, but you can essentially create custom data fields and create a user self-registration link. So when creating this user self-registration link, I can create custom data fields. And once they go to register, they'll fill out all these data fields. And so this is really what gives me the opportunity to collect all the information that I'd like. So I'll show you an example here. Again, this is just an example. You can customize the data fields to your liking, but this is essentially what the customer would see. So as you can see in my example, I have their first and last name, their email address, zip code, consent to email them, their age, company name if applicable, and of course their password. But as you can see, their age, one demographic, their zip code, another demographic, may we email you? That's a great addition for my marketing contacts. So I'm already collecting data, and all I've done so far is provide my customers with a self-registration link. So to enhance this even more, we can talk about the course. So this is the course that I would auto-enroll my customers in. So before diving into some examples, I'll walk through some of the settings that I personally would use. So I would turn on prerequisites. This would ensure that the customers are taking each module in order. And by doing this, I can ensure that they are taking every single step before their big incentive. For example, let's say that their incentive is a coupon. So I'll walk you through this scenario before going any further, but a customer purchases your product, You say, hey, I have some great facts available online, some great ways for you to learn more about the product that I sell. And this is the link to register for it. And at the end of it, you get a free coupon. So prereqs would be a great option to ensure that they're actually completing each step. So these are the modules within the course as part of my example. So again, my business is flagpoles, still there flagpoles. So some of the modules that I can create, just quick examples. Number one, how to care for your flagpole. So this one I can utilize a micro-learning module, for example, and I can just lay out some facts, some pictures, and some videos about how to care for your flagpole. The second module, I could utilize a quiz. So I can do what I have titled here, Guess, Flags Around the World. So it could just be some interesting facts about flags around the world and make it a cute little guessing game. The third module would be something like flagpole etiquette. So again, I can utilize a micro-learning module and I can really just teach, take this opportunity to teach about my product and get them more interested and cultivate that community. The fourth example would be tell us about you. So I can utilize a quiz module again, and I can ask them for more information that helps my business. For example, I can say, what brought you to my company to purchase my product? Or did you purchase anything outside of my company in addition to the flagpole that I didn't offer before? Stuff like that. So you can really gather some more information about your customers while still making it pretty fun. And finally, claim your coupon. So I can utilize a micro-learning module again, for example, and I can offer the coupon code at the end. And because I have prereqs turned on, I know that they're going to go through each step and they're going to complete that quiz that allows me to collect more data. And you can really customize this to your liking. You could use the games or arcades within micro-learning modules or just as its own module. So you can make it as fun as you want. So this is essentially what it could look like. Again, this is just my example here, but if a customer was self-registered and they logged into the platform, they would see that on the Enrolled tab, they have this course that I built for them within this community. And having walked through those modules, I wanted to show you what it basically would look like. So as you can see, I uploaded some thumbnails for each module within this course. And you can see that I do have the padlock icons on the right-hand side to indicate that prereqs are turned on. So to summarize, we've reviewed 7 steps: enterprises, branding, offices, learner groups, account settings, user data, and courses. And because we followed those 7 steps, we have also cultivated 2 different categories of information and help. So one, community. So my customers can learn, have fun, talk about themselves, and get a coupon. And on the data side for my business, I've retained their first and last name, email address, consent to email, zip code, age, business name, feedback through the quiz, and potential product additions through the quiz as well. So after all this, I have collected demographic data, marketing contacts, feedback, potential product addition, and ensured customer retention by offering that coupon. And this concludes my presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it and can apply some of the ways of thinking to your own liking. Thank you.
John, you are on mute.
Thank you, Alex. That was fantastic. And as you can see, within 30 minutes, you can have a community built and targeted to the needs of your organization, your business, your product, your message. Thanks again, Alex, for sharing that with us. What I'd like to do now is to introduce Veronika Sniegirova, our product manager for the Rockstar Learning Platform, and she holds the keys to the roadmap what are we doing, what are we developing, and what can you expect in the future? So go ahead, Veronika, and share some insights.
Thank you, John. Hi, everyone. So I will go over the releases and functionality that was deployed since the last webinar. So in January, we have released a 2.4, deployed a 2.4 release, and it included such feature enhancements as authentication of email links. Administrators can enable or disable their authentication token in reminder emails. So some of their system-generated emails from Rockstar Learning Platform contain a token that automatically locks a user into the system and bypasses the login screen. And some of the customers found that as a security flaw, so we added an option to turn that off. So now if you go to enterprise settings and email notification section, there is a new toggle, and you can disable this token. And every time a learner clicks on the link, they will have to enter their login credentials. The next feature enhancement that we have added was module due date notifications. The Rockstar Learning Platform will now generate due soon and past due email in-app notifications for modules. So you can set the frequency for the notifications for entire organization in account settings, or you can change it per module for specific modules in content tab when you select a specific module. We have also changed how we track quiz progress. So now we track it by fraction instead of percentage, and it's changed on the module page. And now we also auto-populate the module list in admin and enrollments tab. So previously you would have to type 3 characters in order to see the results, the search results, but now we have changed that, and it automatically populates, and you see all of their modules in which you can enroll your learners. And we added an option to disable unenroll button for a module. So allow user to unenroll setting on a course level applies to modules in that course. So for example, if you have a mandatory training like compliance training and you don't want people to unenroll from it, you can disable the unenroll button for a specific module and they will not be able to unenroll. So currently we're working on 2.5 release, and we plan to deploy it in a couple of weeks, hopefully soon. So it will include such features as localization of the user interface in the learner portal. So you will be able to change the language of the learner portal to 5 additional languages. We will add French, Japanese, Portuguese, Spanish, and Thai. So when you will go to enterprise settings, there will be this drop down over here, and you will be able to pick a language. And then if a user belongs to that enterprise, the learner portal and emails and in-app notifications for the user will be translated to this language. Also, it will include some feature enhancements. For example, enterprise and office admins will now be allowed to modify user email address and name. We will also change the way the learner activity will with only a description type question work. They will be more complete on the load of the page, and we will improve the processing time when you added or delete users in batches. So that's what we have coming, and thank you. That's it for me. John, you're on mute.
John took it really seriously when I said we like to have an element of suspense.
Oh, yeah. Let me just get my slideshow back up. And away we go. So thank you very much, Veronika. We're always excited about the direction of the Rockstar Learning Platform. And what I'd like to do is just to kind of do a quick recap. We talked
John,
about
you are not sharing your screen.
Apparently I have to hit OK. There we go.
Just minor details.
Little details. It's always the little things, right? So thank you, everyone, for attending. I'd like to just do a quick recap. Community building is a form of socialization. And Rockstar Learning Platform has the tools and the capability to support your learning across that entire spectrum, including community building and socialization. Alex showed us the 7 components or the 7 steps to how you can engineer your customer interactions by building an enterprise, establishing branding, setting up an office, establishing learner groups and joining members in those groups, updating the account settings, defining the user data that you want to collect, and most importantly, very quickly and easily using our micro learning modules to build content. So within 30 minutes, you can have a thriving community on its way. We took a look at how RLP development is thriving. We saw that over our last release, we've updated our email processes, our notifications, the ability to manage quizzes and enrollments, and we see coming in the future even multi-language support. There's tons more there, and I can't say how excited I am as we wait for all of that. So with that said, I thank you for joining us. I'd like to turn it back over to Stephanie. Do we have any questions or comments to address?
We did have one question going back to Alex's section and what he was showing with setting up the content and the modules. If you turn on prereqs for a course, does that mean that the modules within the course need to be completed in a specific order, or only that the course as a whole needs to be completed before the learner can move on?
Great question. So turning the prerequisites on the course settings makes it so the user has to take each module in order.
So no skipping around. We don't let that happen.
No skipping around.
Can't take all the easy ones first. Darn it. All right. Thank you so much.